So, are we starting? Okay. So, welcome to the Community Committee meeting. The first item on the agenda this evening is to elect a chair and a vice chair of this committee for this financial year. Can I have a nomination, please?
I nominate chair.
Okay.
Or continue to.
Okay. Seconded for that. Okay. All in favour? Okay, and then can we do the same with the deputy, please?
I nominate Sally Brown.
Okay, thank you. Sally, are you happy with that? Yes. Seconder for Sally? Okay, all in favour? Okay, so it's Dawn and Sally. You can come and sit here now. Dawn, take over.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So what's this year for you, Jen?
It is, yes. We're going into a final year of this election session. So let's make it count, folks.
Yes.
Right, to receive apologies for absence. What apologies have we received?
Okay, so we've got Councillor Martin Edwards, Councillor Irene Fazy and Councillor Strain Francis.
Item 3 to note.
Do councils at Martin who's not so apologies.
I've got Martin.
Martin has.
Yeah.
Oh, we've also got
Kevin.
Kevin Murray.
So going in this.
So Kevin Murray. That's it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 apologies, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. To note any declarations of members' interest on any item on today's agenda? None declared.
Sorry, Susan Clark. There is an item on the agenda that I think might be discussed. It's just about Friends and Queens.
Jen's right to mate. Jen's right to mate, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am the chair of the Queen's Friends group.
Thank you very much.
And Ben has a members' item.
I've got a members' item, and also I do some small voluntary work with St Paul's, which is coming up.
Okay, so St Paul's, which is agenda item 7. St Paul's 7.7. Okay, thank you. 7.7. Then we can pick them up as we go along if anyone's missed any. So that's fine.
Right. Item 4 to confirm and sign the minutes of the community committee held on the 10th of March. Are there any amendments?
Corrections of present and apologies.
So to remove the apologies for Sally Brown. Yes.
I was there.
Okay, remove. Sorry about that, Sally.
And add Councillor Tony Mortimer to the attendance list as she was there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you? So we need to vote, don't we, for the true record of.
So all those in favour, can I have a proposal, please? Councillor Coyley, seconded. Yes, you wrote that. Yeah. No, it's okay. I just can't remember whether you were an alternate. Yeah, it's cool. One to do. All those in favour.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Excellent.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5 for public participation. I know there's no members of the public. No. So we'll move on to item 6 to review the year-to-date financial position for the community committee. Can I have the clerk to?
Yeah, sure. So this looks like quite a short. So that it only triggers on the report if we've already spent on it. So like remembrance is missing, Star of Light is missing. That's because nothing has been charged to that. There are some things missing, but I'm happy that I've got the correct figures on mine. So we constantly check and have the accountant move things around when they're miscoded, but no, they're fine.
Okay. So are we all happy to note those the financial position to date?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sense of anything that we're all happy to note. So moving on to item 7 to consider them matters related to grant applications. Katie, you present.
Yes. Future. The first one on the list is the Lighthouse. They are asking for £2,500 towards a £94,000 project for community meals. The small panel met as its usual process, and I was asked to check, in addition to the application information, has the match funding actually been secured? I have since been advised that no, it hasn't. None of the other match funding has been confirmed. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
Any questions, members? Any comments?
Should we defer it until?
Well, that was, that was going to be my comment. And I don't think that we can go ahead with this until we know about the match funding, because it's a substantial amount, and the amount that we are actually being asked to contribute is very small towards the very large project amount. So, yeah.
I suspect they will be counting all of the food donations from different suppliers. Part of that challenge, what do you need to estimate?
Well, the match funding is coming from the Steve Morgan Foundation, National Lottery, and the Garfield Western, not through donations at all. And so, 282,000 is from the Steve Morgan Foundation for 3 years. So until that has actually, come through, then which is a large bulk of the project, then I think with your proposal are to defer until such time.
Did they indicate when they would hear from?
No, nothing was been.
Because these large trusts and foundations, they should have a timetable to let them know when they will get a response.
That's a point.
Am I right in saying that they're asking £720 for a 12-month provision of community meals?
Yes.
In link with what project? Because
exactly.
Why, if they had applied separate for that, wouldn't we be looking at it differently?
Yes.
Yeah, probably would be, but as it stands, as it's on here, then as our regulations and how we approve grants is that we need to ensure that the match funding is secure before we can actually approve the grant. So if they want to either defer it or if they want to submit a project which relates just to the community meal element of it.
Sorry, Chair. I was also going to say that when we were talking about the Sabre One, it was £980 of that is transport, and transport insurance, which isn't in the
So I think if we can ask Katie to go back to them and discuss with them what exactly we can fund and what boxes they have to tick to ensure that it can come before the committee.
The work they do there is really good.
Yeah.
If they can put something together that is satisfactory, then I would like to see them receive some help.
I think then it's best to defer it, because if we decline it, they can't apply for this budget again for 2 years. So Dawn suggested deferring it. Do you want to get a vote on that?
Right. I'm proposing that we defer it. Can I seconder? Councillor Graham. All those in favour?
So for the purposes of the minutes,
Anybody against?
Purposes of the minutes, it's been deferred, subject to proof of match funding and some confirmation around the figures.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just for the record, noted that Councillor Stuart McKay, the Mayor, is in attendance today, but he isn't able to vote.
Can I just ask another question? We're going to go back and advise.
Yes.
We can go back and advise.
Because we're deferring
We're
it.
deferring it, and we can give them the reasons why we're deferring it and what we need
and
them
they can apply again under enough different.
They can. We'll get that. They'll come back and it can be amended. The actual.
Right.
Okay. 7.2 is per place. We are applying for funding for a statue for Ada, which is under the Cheshire Women's Collaboration, and we asked. They also do not have a constitution, so under our regulations, again, that cannot be heard by this committee because they don't meet all the criteria for the application. So that one again will have to be not deferred, but.
Well, I think historically, as you know, they got their funding for this project through the Heritage Centre, And then obviously we topped up the Heritage Centre, but because the Heritage Centre has now changed shape, they've told Her Place to come and apply here through our grant scheme. So it is a project that has been funded indirectly through by Crewe Town Council. Obviously, it's members' discretion, but you know it's up to you guys to.
It would be quite simple for them to
create
a constitution, and it
knowing
would
this
be
all
beneficial
yeah,
in other ways as
first,
well.
yeah. So
So I
you
think
know we can't bend the rules for
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
and not say no to
Yeah.
others who don't
It's
have
not too
constitutions.
onerous.
So
So are we deferring this until they're constituted, or are we declining this application?
Well, it's a very simple matter.
can they apply again if we decline it?
No, not for this project.
So we better defer it.
Definitely
So,
defer it,
yeah.
So I think the project has some merit.
Yeah.
Whether I want to pay for printing of canvas for the exhibition, I'm not certain. But it has some merit in actually highlighting, you know, women in Crewe have made a contribution. So I think the idea has some merit, but I'm not certain that what we're asking for is. So Councillor Rose is proposing that we defer it. Yeah. Seconder, Councillor Graham. All those in favour?
Okay.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
So deferred subject to constitution being obtained.
Lyceum Theatre.
Next one is the Lyceum, thank you. The project total being 4,425, they are asking for 2,500. This one links into the 2026 year of reading, which I think council have voted to support. Bringing people of all ages within the community to bridge the gaps in reading. The panel did query for a little more info on what and where, which I have been supplied with. And generally, the sum that they're looking for is to engage literacy agents. Once they have been engaged, they can then plan what events will take place. The event will take place at Crewe Creates, the Dome, the Library and the Museum, and they will be linked with the Town Council or the Crewe current events. So, for example, if it's Christmas, there will be Christmas themed activities and stories. If it's in a park, you know, it will all link in.
If you have a look at page 23, you'll see all the other organisations within Crewe that have signed up. I think it would look really odd if we weren't on that list.
Yeah. It's a good project.
Yeah.
Jules.
Councillor Rose.
I'm not saying it's not a good project. We should be paying the project management fee of £500 anyway. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not really happy with this idea. They're going to contact the literacy agents and then they'll let us know what we're doing. Just to me, and I, you know, welcome the people to working with. But there's one thing that I would say is obviously not on that list that should be, and that's the schools. You know, if you want to ensure that the people who are benefiting from this are people who live in Crewe, the one way is through schools, and there's absolutely no mention of schools.
They may well at the school and space at some
Yeah, I
point.
think they didn't want to just measure at schools. When we met with them originally, they want people of all ages, where there are gaps in reading. They just want them to come in. But yeah, I can certainly.
And I just think Crewe Library, yeah, it's a great resource and the activities that take place are really good. But when you analyse where a lot of the people are coming from, not all of them are coming from Crewe, within the Crewe town boundary. So activities in the library, although they're great, and similarly in the theatre, you can't guarantee that they're all going to be people who actually live in the Crewe town council boundary. So I think the idea is great, but at this moment in time, I don't feel there's enough detail there to warrant spending £2,000.
Councillor White.
Thank you. I'm picking up on the recruit, train, coordinate a network of literacy champion embedded in grassroots organisation. So recruit against the pools, class, college, family hubs. I'm reading this as we would have reading champions going into the having activities there. not at the library. And it is, yes, the schools are going flat out to improve reading there, and I don't think we can do anything else in schools. But it's the families that don't engage with the schools, because it's the parents. They need to model reading at home. So I think we would address the child reading aspect by tackling parents and grandparents.
Councillor Mortimer.
Yeah, similar to what Ben was saying, I was just picking up on like the areas, football, gaming, cooking. What I'm saying is if they're taking it to a wider audience, for families to engage in a different way. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the kids do go to school, so we've already got it there. So what they're trying to do is expand it on the outside of that. So I would support it really for those reasons. Although I know what you mean, they will put actual schools down, and maybe they could jigger it about and say
Maybe their intention is to go.
yeah,
to
maybe,
schools.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. But I see where and why they're doing it this way.
Yeah, but it says signed up so far, doesn't it? And they have got the
Yeah.
college signed up, so
They kept
hopefully
coming
they
back
are
and
talking.
adding to that list.
Mm.
didn't they?
Yeah.
That's true.
Can I just check? Was it the funding element that you weren't happy with? It was the project management.
Yeah. No.
No, I don't know.
No.
She would pay. I can see why they're not asking for anything from dyslexia friendly equipment.
That to me would make more
Yeah,
sense.
more that makes more sense. I agree with that.
That, you know, that to me
Yeah.
would make more sense,
Mm.
because we all know that resources with dyslexia
It's
are
different.
quite
Yeah.
specialised.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we've done it before though, haven't we, where we've gone back to them and said members support, you know, this actual application. We don't want to fund that, but we do want to fund that. And it's
Yeah.
just a case of jigging around what we support.
Okay, so if I'm getting from members that we fund it for £2,200, because we want to support the dyslexic friendly reading equipment, and under our terms and reference, we can't include the project management because it's like staffing, we don't pay staffing.
Yeah.
So I'll put that. Do I have a proposal then for 2,200? Councillor Y, seconded Councillor Rhodes. All those in favour?
So that's approved.
That's approved.
2,200.
2,200 approved, with a caveat that we get some support from schools.
Yes, but
Yeah.
also like a report back, because it said when they've been in contact with the literary agents, I'd like a report back, because here they're only saying they're delivering 3 community-led reading events. Well, you know, that might be a start, but for instance, I prefer them to deliver more community reading events than giving books.
Yeah.
Because if you read the parent, you borrow books out the library.
Yeah.
Can I suggest then, so that we keep audits nice and clean, can I suggest then that it's approved for £2,200, but the final decision is delegated to officer and chair, subject to us getting the information that Jill has just.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
So approved. Okay, so delegation, I'll write that on minutes to officer and chair.
And you'll make the points, I think, very church you can see, highlight that. There should be more delivery than just throwing it.
Okay, so
Not,
you'll
like
go back
say
to
the books
next
obviously
meeting.
available, but it's the delivery and engagement that's
Okay.
important.
Yeah, well, we obviously
Yeah.
want to support them, but it has to be
I
right,
agree,
doesn't it?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Onto Henry Street's allotments. This one is to add some planters, which is phase 2, or raised planters. They are being used to engage local schools and groups in growing their own foods. The allotment holders are looking forward to sharing their expertise and helping people learn where the food is coming from. The panel did not have any queries, but were generally supportive of this application.
Any comments, any questions then? Councillor Rhodes?
I'm going to do mine all the thing that I did before. When Crewe Town Council was formed 12 years ago, it was agreed that we would not claim rent, but allotments would be responsible for their own maintenance and for their own community activities. On this agenda, we have got 2 allotments requesting funding from us. Now, obviously, that has not been explained to the allotments, because I know over time people forget these things. But we could be claiming as a town council, I think when we took over the allotments, it was something like £25 a year per allotment. Now that is a substantial amount of money. Whether it was collected or not is another matter, because treasuries were not brilliant at collecting it. But so basically, Crewe Town Council is giving the allotments whatever rent money that we have collected. And I understand that these allotment associations are not, that's not been made to them. So I understand that, and what's being requested here is perfectly logical, and the community is involved, it's fine. But can it be made clear in the future that was the agreement, which was like, it wasn't 12 years ago, it's about 10 years ago now. But that was the agreement that was signed with the allotments. That was the lease that we signed with
So I think we probably sent a confusing signal to the allotments, because over the years we have funded allotments. So I think that maybe it's something that we need to add to our grants policy, that we don't fund allotments. Because are you saying that, or are you saying that you want to?
I think it needs something that needs to be discussed by members. And really, allotments are not this committee, are they? Allotments belonging to public services.
Okay.
Well,
so,
this is an application for community use.
Yeah.
So this is different.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I think it's something that needs clarifying from the council's perspective, so that we have a clear policy on it.
What I was going to say, this isn't like maintenance of the allotment site or individual, but it's a community project to actually bring more of the wider community into the allotments, which I would state wouldn't be what they would be charging, taking their rent off their members for. So, but apparently, I think most probably a reminder needs to go out as well.
I think the council needs. I think the council needs to review its position and see if the position that it wants to take now is the same as what it was 10 years ago.
But in reviewing its position, it most probably would be that any rents come to the council, wouldn't it? So
I think when we took that decision, we'd only got a clerk and a part-time admin assistant, and it wasn't physically possible to do that. Yeah. And the system, as it's been agreed, has worked really well until now.
Yeah.
So I think
from this committee, So from this committee, could we ask the Public Services Committee to do a review of the allotments agreements?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor.
If anything, it's just more to reiterate the clarity of it. The fact we're talking about that it's when it comes down to community impact, and there is an actual goal to improve life skills, or in terms of engaging the wider community in something extra to what they would normally do. That's the line.
Yes. Yeah, and I think we were all in agreement with that. So are we? Councillor White.
So many years ago, I was the coordinator for the Crewe schools. Inherited a lot, and we bought lots of tools and stuff we never ever used. Schools don't have the time, the capacity, or the willingness to come out of school to go and visit an allotment. When every school's got their own green area they can do it themselves. I would also question, why do children need a raised bed? Why can't they just do a thing? It's just my bitter experience.
Can I also just add a point? I don't know if members remember, but that Ruskin Road, about 4 years ago, gave us an allotment and said, we want to give it back to you for community use. And I spoke with Becky Hurst, Churches Together, etc. And it failed. For 2 years, she tried to get working groups. It became overgrown. It was full of weeds. Nobody would touch it. No one will hold the baby because it's a big commitment. Yeah. So about 2 or 3 months ago, she said, I'm going to have to hand it back because we just can't use it. So I've spoken to St Paul's, I've spoken to the Wishing Well, I've spoken to several groups, none of them want it. So this is a green space in the middle of Crewe that's going to cost them nothing. So when I saw this application, obviously it's all different and areas are different. With that in mind, I thought we've got this allotment that I'm probably going to have to just hand back to them. And they've got space at the moment, but I can't, no one will take it.
Which school would go to Henry Street?
I don't know.
So the near schools.
It'd be a shame if we
Yeah.
didn't fund allotments
They
per se,
are.
as it is a project.
Well, they've saying they're from Beechwood School.
That's
Right.
quite a walk, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
They've got a partnership with them.
Yeah.
I want-
St Paul's have a partnership with Beechwood, but they don't want the allotments. So
Yeah, I would want confirmation from one school that they would.
So a member saying that we want to defer this until we have got guarantees that they have got schools who want to actually take part in this before we commit our funding.
Yeah. Let's save them.
Stuart.
save them.
If I may, I've come across very successful groups that have worked with green spaces, some on allotments, some converted car parks across different counties, and they tend to be very successful with special needs groups.
yeah.
That just remind about the raised beds. They're perfect for
Yes.
for that group.
Yeah.
And so maybe in terms of that kind of discussion, it might be worth widening the pool from schools to those kind of groups.
And there is the virtual schools, children homeschooling who might want to some outdoor activity, hope for more.
Hopefully more have just taken on Queen's Park. I connected them to Queen's Park,
Oh,
and they're
right,
now going
okay.
there one day a week because that's lost its, funding, and you've got all these tools
Yeah.
and polytunnel, so they're delighted to take the group.
Yeah, I know that Pebblebrook School they converted part of their school
Yeah.
fields to raised beds and a community garden, and it goes down really well. The kids,
Yeah.
so it does work with kids, getting them engaged. But I think it's more the fact that it's on their doorstep
Yeah.
rather than so. So we defer this. The proposal is then to defer this until we can get guarantee that they have got a school signed up. Yeah.
Committed, yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to know what it looks like, don't we?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Seconded. Sorry, Katie wanted to say something. Yes.
Beechwood Primary visited last year and I'm planning to visit again. And there were also a discussion on the primary academy and really primaries.
Right.
Helpful.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a difference between
The visit
They just-
and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
relevant. Yeah, right. So
Someone
I want to visit. Yeah. So it's the commit.
Yeah.
So right. So we've got a proposal to defer and to get the actual commitment from those schools that they say they've got signed up for. So proposed by Councillor Rose, seconded by Councillor Graham. Was that all those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. So next one.
Next one is the Pride of Romany group. You'll remember they came to us with a Puri Dye project back in March. That was declined based on there being no detail and no firm plans in place. So this application has come through. I wasn't asked to gain any information around the panel because it felt a more comprehensive application. So really there's nothing to add to anything that's already been provided.
The only thing that I've got to add is that I'm just inclined to actually move this to, or some of it, to our diversity and inclusion budget, rather than it all being funded out from grants. So
There was a song, in there, which was £800. She says £850 for specialist delivery of storytelling, music and cultural sessions, which was considered a whole place for these.
So in terms of the EDI funding, Dawn, we have got £2,700 available because we had £5,000 approved. So far we funded the Filipino event and the catering for the diversity event and the security there. The only thing that I was mentally earmarking that for was to continue to support Choose Your Story because they've done very well, the Polish group, and they're coming to the end of their funding. So that at the next meeting I was going to submit a 3-year application. But so just bear that in mind. I mean, obviously we can take it from anywhere if we choose to, but
any of them's got.
Well, my concerns with the application they put in last time was that there was no evidence that it was dealing with people based in Crewe.
yes.
I have bumped into Charmaine, who put this application together a couple of times, and she she has assured me that these are people in Crewe that will be benefiting from it, to the extent that she started to give me names and addresses.
Maybe partially.
Do we know where the delivery is going to take place? Because I'm looking, if it's in Crewe, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Councillor Rhodes.
I think it's just looking up trends.
I feel like it's in create space, which they had offered free charge.
The cost covers all associated delivery expenses required to successfully run the week-long
It's a
programme based on Wishing Well Family Hub.
Crew venue
Yeah.
support.
Yeah, page 40, that's on if anyone wants to look at it.
And also, it's got project coordination in there, and we've also refused one today with project.
Refreshments as well.
Yeah, so there's
bits to come out.
so there's 400 on the last two items which we wouldn't fund.
So the 250 and the 150, which
Yeah.
is celebration events, project coordination. Yeah.
And we've asking to Councillor Graham made a suggestion to move the 850 to diversity. Yeah.
Can I would like to suggest that we give them £1,500
Okay.
and then added to what Councillor Graham said about moving money to diversity. Maybe not, maybe £1,000 to moving what Councillor Graham
Well,
said.
but we're saying that we wouldn't fund 400 of it anyway.
So yeah, we're taking
so
400 off anyway.
I think
400 off anyway, and then if we 1,500, so 600 goes from diversity.
So 650 from
50, isn't it?
850 from diversity and 650 from the grants.
Yes. That's right.
Because we
That's
have
what I
got
was proposing.
I think the storytelling, you know, is really important culturally for the Roman children.
And that follows suit of other projects like Her Choice and that the
Yeah, I think
storytelling
that's
that
really
we
important.
funded. So
And I think that's, for me, that should be the focus of funding, because that is developing the Roman culture.
yeah, Councillor Graham.
Stuart and I have seen the project they did based in Nantwich, and it's pretty good. You know, you can see how much work they put into it, and the displays and the exhibition was quite impressive.
Okay.
After Councillor McKay speaking to me recently on the same subject, I was blown away with what knowledge even Stuart gained from it. So I'd encourage it, especially with the year of culture in 2028 coming on.
Yes.
It'd be a great bonus to
Yeah.
have.
So do I have a proposal then?
So for the purposes of the minutes, 650 from the grant scheme and 850 from the EDI funding allocation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Graham proposing, seconded. Councillor Coyley, all those in favour? That's unanimous, thank you.
So, yes, back to it. Last but not least, we have the Ruskin Road allotments. These ones are specifically looking for purchasing a hedge trimmer for improvement of alleyways around the allotment site, which will help the neighbours.
Suppose I should declare that it's in my ward. No, it's not actually.
Do you want that noted?
No, it's Crewe West. But yes, and for Ruskin, it is in
No,
my
it's-
ward.
That's in your one,
What's
but
part of
Crewe
Crewe
West.
West, yes. So, yeah. Well,
Through that.
Yeah, and the alleyways are banned. And any help in the alleyways that can be given to us clear them up. And if it's, I would support.
Again, it's a community.
It's benefiting the community, isn't it? So, Councillor Rhodes.
Can I just ask where this sits with public services earmarked reserve for cutting back hedges?
It's a good point, and I think that you know, the rangers go out and they do some alleyways. The deal with the rangers is that they'll go out and support any groups that set up to clear it, but they won't go out and do it for you, which I think is fair. If a group comes to us and says, you know, we've got a volunteer session on a Saturday, we've got 8 people, can you help? Then we'll help. And they take away rubbish and they do what they can. But we're not about just sending the rangers out to do it for people.
No, but the public services,
Yes.
Stuart,
Yeah.
and then to last council meeting,
Yeah.
not last council meeting,
Yeah.
council meeting, but it's got an earmark reserve, which in fact headers after the ski season.
Well, there you go, Stuart. It's a good job you're here.
It's reminded them about that I can't be the elected chair of that committee anymore.
I think personally I would like it deferred until we know where it sits in relation to that earmark reserved in public services.
And if whether or not the that
Find out where it should come from.
yeah, so whether they're actually planning to do that as part of the project from the earmark reserve.
Yeah, because it's definitely,
Yeah.
it's definitely.
Okay.
So, for the purpose of the minutes, are we deferring it subject to, because it can't sit in the grant scheme if it comes from public services? That will
No,
cause a
but
bit of
we
an
need to know
ordinance.
What the actual
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's nesting season. You can only use it after nesting season.
So
It
if,
was the 31st.
so if we defer this from this committee, and then we'll speak to public services and see if they pay it, then I can ask them to withdraw if they
But it's
pay
not
it.
a case of them paying for it, it's whether or not that alleyway is going to be part of the project from the Public Services Committee to be cut back. So if they're already planning to cut that back as part of that
Yeah.
project,
Yeah.
then why would we fund for a hedge trimmer to actually undertake to do that job if it's already going to plan to be done?
Just a quick point out, maybe I was being trivial about this, but this one is applying for equipment for them to do it themselves, which of course will not be a one-off thing.
No.
So it'll be something they'll have the equipment for to do again and again and again.
Mm.
Whereas with the public service, we're talking about a one-off job that needs to be done.
Right.
So I need to make sure that we're aware of
But could we use public service to buy the hedge trimmer?
Under that.
we could do that. Then
I
that's
think
fine.
as well though, we've got to be aware that, you know, if
It's
you
a
do that
method.
for
It's a
one,
method.
you're going to get them all. Do they all join up? Do they all use each other's stuff? Because, you know, we buy it for one and they go, oh, well, how about them? We've got, and you end up buying 10 of them.
There is then a risk assessment and insurances of, you know, handing out our equipment to members of the public to use it. So,
If public services are unable to fund it, would members be minded to fund it? Because if we're
well, we're
deferring
asking it to defer, aren't we, for more
Right.
information to come back from the
Okay.
Public Service Committee, whether a one-off clearing this year, and then we can consider it once we know what exactly public
Okay.
services are going to do, and then if it is a one-off and it's over, yeah, then we
I'll speak to the public services
Don't
manager
necessarily
tomorrow.
need
then.
to fund it
So,
if it's a one-off fee, is that
No.
right?
so that's deferred
Yeah.
until the next meeting, and by then hopefully we'll have the facts. The public services agenda went out today, so it might be too late for next week's meeting, but I'll check.
Sure, the public service manager.
Yeah.
To mention that.
We can add it on. I think I'll speak to her tomorrow. I'll say that Jill said. And then I'll run.
Simple.
So we is,
I'm going to say Kate.
turn the page.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to
It's
say
a long day.
We didn't.
So, right, so we proposed the deferral, Councillor Rhodes, seconded. Councillor Mortimer. All those in favour? That's unanimous, thank you.
Few members.
Okay, on to the last grant now.
Just teasing you.
Yeah.
Using the medic.
St Paul's Centre have put an application in. They would like to run some community events this year. I think they were telling us it's their
40th anniversary of
this year.
being in crew.
Yeah, they're looking at new activities and events, which are a fitness festival, Crew's Got Talent, and also to develop and produce a family store. The panel raised several queries, which included evidence of collaborative work, which wasn't mentioned in the application, and detail of the planned book. I do have the responses, which say that the story will be developed using insights gathered directly from local schools and trusted community partners. aiming to create a family storytime resource celebrating the pride, aspiration, heritage, inclusion and culture of Crewe. They are planning to meet with the schools June through to September to gather ideas and themes and then complete the book and make it available in time for Christmas. And they are, in answer to the other question, working in close collaboration with Crewe Creates. The fitness festival was queried in terms of evidence of the community wanting one. I think there'd been a previous activity. And they've just said there is a clear and strong desire within our community to connect with and support the organisation. They have served in Crewe for almost 40 years. We know the community, we're on the front line, and we want to give back with a joyful, inclusive and celebratory night. So it will provide a welcoming space where residents can come together, take part and deepen connections with one another and with St Paul's.
Well, yeah, that's on page 51.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to read it.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said that.
That's all right. I'm just letting you burn yourself.
Any comments? Councillor Rowlands.
I think basically £1,000 is basically asking us to pay for them to print a book. Aren't they?
Yes, printing, design costs, illustration, materials, yeah.
Don't think that is the spirit of grants.
No.
Because, you know, we might give the small amount to kickstart something, but we wouldn't really normally expect to spend printing of a book, which we've no idea about where the sales, whether it's going to be given, whether there's going to be sales from it, where the profit's going. As a person who rarely ever has visited a gym in my life, I wouldn't really be interested in the fitness festival. But what I think would be good is this idea that Crewe's got talent, because we know from feedback from people that they want more music and they want more places for local bands to play.
Culture.
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, I think that, you know, hiring demand from whatever would be something where we could have, if they run it properly, which I'm sure we will, where we could actually have young talent actually showcasing. So whether you want to discuss with them how much it will be to take forward that particular element to make it really valuable, because that doesn't seem a lot of money to me.
I think that's a section of it, because if you look at social media and promotion, and then they've got event safeguarding costs, so the Crewe's, that might be a mix of the two, wouldn't it?
Because we shouldn't be paying safeguarding costs.
No.
And we shouldn't be paying for their social media promotion.
And also, you know, this isn't showing any direct match funding. The cost of the project is 2,500. We put in a request for 2,500. And also, this is an event. And I think it's sitting with the wrong.
I think they just filled it in wrong. It's 4.6 on the total activity budget on page 56. They've just filled it in. They've not put 4.6 at the bottom.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's still the total cost in A is not, it's total
So it doesn't
2,500.
stack up.
So it does.
Have they got your back? Have they?
Volunteer time details.
Right.
Admin and coordination.
Yeah, but even so, the total cost is wrong. The form is filled in wrong because it's not stating
It's the
how much.
total figures at the top.
Yeah, so the figures are, yeah. So even if there is a stop, it's not completed correctly. And I feel this is the fitness festival, the Crewe's got talent, and the event safeguarding except is events. This committee isn't events committee. This is support a product. I would actually argue more that the creative materials, the £1,000 is the element for which this committee would support.
When they print the book, which they then sell and take the profit.
We're assuming that we don't know if they're going to.
We don't know, do we?
It's
So-
not just producing a book, it's all the run up to it and the visits to schools and other local
Hearing the
groups.
voices.
Yeah, there's an awful lot more
Yeah.
to it than just creating a book.
Yeah, it is.
That's the
They
culmination
want
of
to
it.
talk to everybody in through, hear their voice, get it on
I
paper
think it's a
before
great
it's too
collaborative
late or people have
project.
moved on. And I
Yeah.
think I know there was some talk with the John McBride along a similar line,
Yeah.
and I feel that like Dawn, I actually think the book is a positive thing because if we can get down memories of crew, but I think we should perhaps know whether or not they intend to charge for it, what the costs
Yeah,
are,
a bit more
how they're going to
information.
circulate it.
So what we're saying then is the events, the Crew got Talent and the fitness festival, we're saying they're not grants, they're something to go through the events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other is that the form is completed incorrectly, so we can't approve it as it stands because the form isn't completed correctly, and it's not quite obvious whether you've got direct funding of 2,100 and you've got indirect funding, and what you've just been saying about it's saying the volunteer hours are the ones which are the lead up and to creating, so there isn't a cost to the actual lead up to it because it's voluntary. So I'm a little bit so again I think it's one that we, Katie, I'm afraid, defer and go back and ask them for some more details.
When is the event? When are they looking at doing it? I'm just thinking, is it time to Christmas?
So
Yeah. So
So,
our next
June.
committee is June, isn't it?
I mean, the book itself will take a long
I was
time.
going to say.
So defer until July, subject to more information.
But an important
But the events part of it could be to go to the events committee.
events-
From this committee, we could ask for the element of which is an event. Because I'm concerned about the fitness festival because we did try fitness festival last year and it bombed.
Completely.
Like,
There's
you
no
know,
one
it
there.
wasn't. So how different is it going to be from what we've already tried and you know, etc. So what the Britain's Got Talent, you know, Crew's Got Talent, you know,
It's got potential. That has, yeah.
I do remember 120 odd years ago, but you know.
Videos.
The events budget is already
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
detailed
Mhm.
to virtually a penny
Yeah.
exactly what's got to be spent. So there is no way in the events budget that is going to happen this year.
I thought that the message that I feel, anyway, perception is reality, that I was getting from events were that, you know, if something came along like this, we'd have a look at it as a grant funding thing. If we were minded, or you guys were minded to fund it and it went well, events would pick it up from that point and say, right, this is something that went well, we've got all the figures, got all the evaluation.
I think this is the difference, isn't it? Because again, this is something the council needs to think about. We decided to become a commissioning council because we were continually getting requests from people to fund this, that, and the other, and there was no system to look at it. So we decided to become a commissioning council, and we would decide as the councils and the officers together what we thought were reasonable events or reasonable whatever community uses, so that we had it planned in our budget. And this is one of those things that's come up. It's not budgeted for the next
It's an
12
idea,
months.
yeah.
It's an idea that could be put into the budget for the next council, but not this budget, because there's no money in the budget.
But we do have money in the grant scheme if we were minded to take it down the route of, it's an idea, let's support them, it's good for Crew.
Again, we're relying, we put in our logo on there, but we're relying on another organisation to organise things in a way that would cover us with public liability. And that's something to consider, because, and I'm not saying St Paul's wouldn't do that, because I know there's a really experience.
Yeah.
But you're putting your logo up there, and if something does go wrong, then your logo's on that, so you bear responsibility with any other organisation that's logos up there.
We do
And
have
that's
a
why we
service level
control
agreement that
events.
says we don't, they take it all on.
That's why we control events,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you're legally responsible for anything that goes wrong. So that's why I think, although that's a great idea, we have to have a lot more information about their safeguarding, the
Who's
risk
good to know?
assessments and everything else that went into that event.
So what are we saying then? What's
I think Katie's picked up that we need more information, that we're happy to defer it, for it to come back to this committee, but the proviso that we need the form completing correctly, that we need more information relating to their events management and safeguarding issues, and also to
Crew Creates behind them as well, because they were in the same meeting that I went to with them when they were talking about it. And Crew Creates are very much involved.
Yeah.
They're very
I
used
think
to putting
the
stuff
thing
on.
that I have, it's a big departure from what they've always done in the past.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what St Paul's Centre is known for, and I can understand because they've got new CEO, they've got new community development officer, but where's their sort of development plan, their business plan, that this is the area that they're moving into, and also the fact how it collaborates or crosses over other organisations, which are some. We already have a fitness project which we fund for the for street sports. So you know, it's there is where there's the duplication and where delivery. Yeah, how's the brain?
If we were to go back and have a discussion with them about more detail for the events element, would we then be minded to grant fund the book and the work the collaborative work that runs up to it?
But we can't, if we make that decision on the book, on the book element.
We can't defer the whole thing.
We can't.
No, but
Yeah,
I'm
we
just saying
can't.
that's a question and
Or we could defer it for these to come back and it be deferred to chair and officer decision.
Delegated to officer and chair. I think this is better to be deferred. I think.
Yeah, but it'll have to be deferred in the whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chair, just regarding the book, I was just ferreting around on the grant criteria. Anything that is of primary aim to fund these, it says the council cannot fund. So if it is that the book is to make them profit, I'll update it, but that didn't get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The purpose of
Okay.
the minutes then, deferred subject to more info as discussed with Katie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy to propose that.
Okay. Proposed by Councillor Rose, seconded by Councillor Graham. All those in favour? Thank you very much, Urban. Right.
Jackie, abstain.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So,
Just on to the next one.
are you staying, So you're staying, right? Okay. Item 8, which is a members' item. Councillor Y. To consider allocating funds for a bike rack and bench at Queen's Park.
Can I just preface this? I think we should just make members aware that this is also done before the Public Service Committee next week. Dawn picked up.
I picked up on that. I felt that because this wasn't, this was more infrastructure and parks related, that it should go to Public Services Committee, and that it wasn't to come out. It wasn't really part of our criteria for health and well-being.
I'm happy with that decision.
Okay, so are we?
So we can skip on then.
Yeah, so the item has then been moved to the Public Services Committee. Okay, thank you.
Move to PS. CT. Okay, thank you.
Item 9 is to provide members with an update of projects funded through the grant scheme which have ended since the last committee.
Okay, so this is a massive document. We funded, I've included it because they've put so much effort into it, but literally taken about 40 pages of this agenda. But I didn't feel I could pull anything out. I wanted to just see what I did. So we chose to fund Choose Your Story, which are a Polish group that I know, Sally, you've had a lot to do with. And they've just worked wonders with the money, I feel, that we've given them. They've made it count. They've made their mark. We funded them through the grant scheme. Their funding is about to come to 12 months. It is my intention I haven't told them this yet, but it's my intention to talk to them about the possibilities of us funding them on a 3-year SLA, and then I will bring it back to committee in July for your consideration. So I left it in for that reason, so that you could actually see what's being done. Sally, you've been a lot, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Could I ask that we have got a guarantee that the project isn't ended, that it is going to
Oh, it's
continue
definitely-
before?
It's rolling.
Yeah,
Definitely
it's a
is
rolling
rolling.
project.
Yeah.
No, that's the only thing that I would
Yeah.
want to see is a business plan for 3
Yeah,
years
sure.
coming forward before we actually
Yeah.
sort of, move it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that won't be a problem. They've sent over huge more amounts of data, including everything they spent, even on a cup of tea. I chose not to include that because it would have made it 100 pages. I just wanted to include and let members know what they've been doing with the council's money. So yeah, it really is just a noted that there's no vote on that at all.
Are you happy to note that, members?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay, so noted.
Item 10. To consider and approve the community strategy. So we all attended the workshop, we've all seen the draft of this. And is there any questions? I don't intend for us to go through this item by item, line by line.
Well, members have had this for
Several
a
weeks.
couple of weeks now. Dawn obviously added her statement on the front. This is what will go on our website to accompany the new grant schemes. So we've now got a small grant scheme and a grant scheme up to £2,500. That will all go on at one point as the other one comes down, subject to this being approved this evening.
Are we happy to note, members? Any
Yeah.
questions? Or do we need to approve it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it didn't. Yes, it's
Yeah.
approved. So, we'll have. I'm happy to propose the strategy. Councillor Graves seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Members, thank you very much.
Okay, that's my day sorted tomorrow.
To provide an update, item 11 is to provide an update to members on the progress of the business plan.
Okay, so I won't go through it piecemeal because you can obviously read it. It's all here. There's not an awful lot on there because apart from give out money, obviously we only gave it out in April and we're only in May. Any feedback that I've had on anything that we funded is on there. So a little taste, if you like, if you pardon the pun, of the Apple Pie Club, which is run by St Paul's, which does fantastically well. They give me regular updates. I won't put them on every agenda, but I will put them on here, there, and everywhere. It really is a fantastic project, and you know what's on the menu. And I think I've told members before there was a lovely story of two socially isolated pensioners who went and they got married.
Wow.
They met, which I just loved. I thought that was really nice. Okay, so community development. So just to give members a bit of an update, St Peter's Church, St Andrew's Church has always been. They've always run lunch crew between them. Becky Hurst, they've lost all the funding for Becky Hurst now, so she is now not working for St Andrews. However, she's still involved as a volunteer with St Peter's. So we are only funding the lunch crew at St Peter's, and then the other thing that members approved was the warm and healthy spaces community outreach. Kept that back for now because there's a possibility that Becky might be delivering that from the Caritas Centre because she's already there. So we chopped it around a little bit. So I think the approval was something like 5,500, but to safeguard the money, I've only paid so far what St Peter's need, and they've run their first one today. And Becky's involved, but only as a volunteer because the funding's gone, which is a real shame. But the funding's approved, and obviously I'm speaking to Dawn about it, and I'll keep you approved along the way.
Councillor Rhodes.
Is there anywhere else in that reserved area we find some support for children in the holidays as regards food?
I think there's a conversation which could be had with the Myrtle building.
Yeah.
With Hope Church because they have a cafe on site. They are developing a buns and tots group.
Yeah, well, we funded
from
that,
there.
haven't we?
Yes, so from there, and the cafe only opens one day a week on a Friday. So so I think perhaps we could develop a
We
conversation.
have a conversation with them in the really
Yeah. I'm actually there on Friday,
So
so
Very
I
well
could.
placed.
Very well placed.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they actually are more in the centre of where the most
Yeah.
deprivation is done, St Andrews.
Yeah.
So it's only slightly, I think members approved about 2,300 from memory, and we ended up giving them, I think it was 1697. because we took out the St Andrews element. It might come back to St Andrews, but at this moment in time, it was uncertain, so I pulled it because I thought I don't want to just hope that the money goes to the right person.
No, because there won't be anybody at St.
No, but the Caritas are looking to do the other. We funded 2 projects, so the Caritas are looking to do the other project, but it wasn't ready for this committee, the commitment. So I'll keep you posted.
Those, what about those 2 places were chosen because they have the areas of deprivation.
Yeah,
So the Caritas Centre is ideally placed in the centre of town,
yeah,
but there are not many people.
yeah. Okay, so we'll look at.
Yeah, and it is difficult to get footfall there. You know, I know I run a dementia group from there, but that's because we've been successful and we bring people who they can travel in it and it's become a destination. But it is very difficult, as you know from your the co-op networking events. It is hard to get footfall. You know, passing trade there. Yeah,
I think with the uncertainty, the fact that we funded St Peter St Andrews, we approved £5,153. 1,600 of it has gone out. We can always do a variation of that if indeed we can get Myrtle Street to do something. But it's approved funding, but I'll probably talking to Dawn and we're mindful that we're not just going to give it out.
Yeah.
Starlight Service, haven't started on that yet. It's, you know, we start, all the permissions are started. Remembrance Sunday exactly the same. Wellbeing, Wishing Well Street Sports, we're going into year 3 for that. 3 of 3. They've just given out the dates. The leaflet's just been designed, and that will go on our website, and it'll go on our every morning. This is what's happening. Winter Street Sports will be going before F&G. Wishing Well are proposing that they've lost their funding for winter. This went so well. They went into the winter and delivered this, and it was every bit as successful. So that's coming before you to consider F&G. It's obviously been put out this committee because it's too much money. We couldn't afford it in this committee. Friendship groups. I've just really let members know. I won't read it all out. I've let members know exactly what we've funded to date with the money that you all approved. Most of it's gone out. There's a couple of it that haven't yet. Just down to the fact that the dementia group, it's December, so I haven't done the payments yet, of course. The diversity event that we had in Crewe, a celebration of diversity, was fantastic. It went really, really, really well. Given what was going on in the community on that day, we wondered whether it went fantastically well. And the feedback that we got, if you think about our strategy and the consultation that went out, people said they need more access to us. So I'm looking at running some more of those smaller style events, but not always diversity. So I was thinking of one, maybe like a seniors style group where perhaps we bring in the CAB and we'll provide some food, and it costs very little. And I was looking at various venues. I had a meeting with the library today to discuss the next 3 years funding, and also meet their new head of service there. And she's really wants us to use the space. I've asked her to do a complete breakdown of postcodes for the proposal that will come before members in October. But we've talked more about they want to change some stuff and make meeting spaces there, and talk more about, she said we can have a notice board there. That's also going to F&G funding for notice boards. Sorry, I'm on a roll now because it's because it suggested that we only ever do things by socials. So there's I've got prices from Queen's Park for that, but very cheaply we can go into the library, and as you go in the double doors on the left, there's that massive wall. And she said, take all that wall and we'll help you with all the leaflets if you want to drop them off. And I think, why would we decline that?
That's a change.
Yeah, it was really, really positive meeting. She's only been there a month. I've offered to connect her to all sorts of different people. She's come from Oswestry, and she's been there years, so she really understands and sees the value of that. Is a space in the middle of the town. Of course you can use it. And yes, we can have a notice board. So that went well. There's lots and lots of stuff there. But yeah, the diversity event cost us hardly anything. Cost us about 300 quid. And it was fantastic. It was such a good event. And I think we've got to listen to what that strategy told us. We're never going to set up a hub where people can pop in. But I was thinking if we could get, like, maybe do an elderly group, maybe do a young person's group, female mental health, male mental health.
The Haven actually requested to host that.
It was amazing.
It's
Yes.
an amazing
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah.
They actually said,
It was fantastic.
"Are you doing a diversity
Yeah,
event?
yeah.
We'd like to host it."
It was fantastic, and it cost us hardly anything. Bit of officer time, bit of organising on our part, and it was hugely successful. So I do want to build on that. Yeah, of course.
It's quite a few things. It's a general issue feeling to me at the moment.
Oh, that's
How
good.
connected are we to bid
Crew bid.
town of culture
Oh,
in 2028? Because
Well-
that diversity event, which I didn't attend,
Yeah,
sounds really, really
it's
successful.
amazing. Yeah,
Sounds as though it needs to be run
yeah.
twice a year, maybe once a year.
Certainly.
That diversity thing is
Yeah.
what town of culture is
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling town culture at the moment. I don't know whether that's down to
We're all over it.
I believe you're all over it, but
Yeah.
I'm not feeling
Yeah.
it.
Well, we're
There's
waiting to
other
hear.
groups
aren't
out
we?
there which are not feeling it. I want to know. And I think that after having the experience of being in Bradford,
Yeah.
these are the groups which
Yeah.
then were on display. You know, these are the sort of things which were actually
It was
happening.
wonderful.
All
They
those
they
groups.
did cooking demonstrations. You know, people from Gaza came with their national dish, and Sally helped tip it on the table, and it was chicken and rice. People bought cakes and pride. It was just honestly, it was everything that I could have hoped for.
So good.
It was wonderful, and of course, it'd been a horrible day in Crewe, and we were like, "Oh, timing." But actually, it was just what Crewe needed. I'm so glad we went ahead with it. It was
Just as long as it's
positive.
that, it's
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that seen?
Yeah.
Well,
It is. We tack so everything we do that's
Yeah, I agree with you.
anything that we do that has anything to do with anything at all that is relevant has the Town of Culture hashtag on it, so they see it. Everything we put out that is relevant has the hashtag on it, and we're told that we're going to be hearing about it in spring. I don't know what spring. They didn't mention a year, but hopefully. So going on, there's some. If you go to page 118, there's some pictures there. The police came along as well, which I thought was fantastic because it was quite unsettling, and they came along and offered their support, didn't they? Yes, it was really good. I've got a male mental health request for quotation out at the moment. I had quite a lot of interest in that. Quite a few groups have approached me for various bits of information.
Some of the groups didn't realise that it was separate from the grants.
Yeah, I know. I get all that. Is this the grant? No, and you
No.
explain it all.
So they thought they couldn't apply for it.
Yes, I can't remember who that was I spoke
Menny
to.
Sheds.
Yes, it was. I spoke to Men in Sheds about that. Well, we've already had a grant, so we didn't think we could apply. I was like, this is not a grant. But they don't understand our processes, do they? So it's out there. It's on the website at the moment. Closing date is in about 3 or 4 weeks. Stuart's expressed an interest in being part of the scoring for that because it's your thing that you want to focus on, which of course is very welcome to be. And then the next one that will be going out is money advice. I've got £2,500 approved for 3 years, so I'll let that one end and then I'll put the next one on, otherwise it's just too much. All these we've continued to fund. Defibs are on and offline at the moment. Batteries are dying, and all the things we knew would happen, but Katie's all over that, so that's good. We got £1,000 in for networking events, which is what I propose to use when I run these little events. Hopefully, I took the last one out of EDI so I could leave 1,000 in. So I've still got 1,000 to play with. Obviously, if it goes well, I might come back and say we need a bit more, but we'll evaluate that as we go. We've just agreed to fund the RBL some money for their events and the things that they're going to do throughout there's only a word missing there. White Ribbon, we're looking at merging a little bit with her place because at the moment we're still doing a lot of the legwork. We are the accredited party. They need help with all sorts of stuff now. They're going to be playing a bigger part and we'll step back from it. So Katie saw them last week, didn't you? You went out to see them. Youth Fed event is coming up. That's obviously at Queen's Park, Alan. Everyone's been paid. Library support funding, I've told them that I need a 3-year plan from them by October 6th, which is our committee where it's the first time I'll be floating the business delivery plan by you for the year after and the years following that. I've told her to give us some options, but I've said definitely don't ask for any more because members will not be minded to fund more, but give us some options, give us, an amount of money. I told her that we'd been approached last minute for extra money, which wasn't acceptable to us because, and I explained the reasons why, Jill, as you pointed out at the time, there are other councils that use this service, so that
Yeah.
she's going to do me a breakdown of postcodes so that we can make sure that it's proportionate. And she does intend to ask the other councils. So obviously it's early days there.
Yeah.
So that's it really. Loads going on as always, but next meeting is when's that?
14th of July.
Yeah, so item 12 is to note the proposed date of the next meeting, which is Tuesday the 14th of July 2026 at 6 p.m. Close the meeting at 7.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you. Who lost?